the stack. This is the stack system, and I think it's a really cool device, so I want to tell you about it. So firstly, we've got the stack stick itself, and it comes with a funky end. So on the end, we can unscrew this last bit here, and we can put on different weights from this nifty little kit here. And it's got a few different weights in here, so we can adapt and change what weights we put on it. And it very nicely links up to an app on your phone or your tablet, so you can track and measure your progress. Now, I've borrowed this off of a regular customer of mine. Thank you very much, Ross. And I've got some screenshots of his in-app progress. Now, the good thing about this system is that it makes you space out how often you train with it, and it gets very specific with what you do with it. But there's one little thing that I would add to it just to help improve a certain skill that's going to really help you if you're looking to improve your speed. But this literally screws onto here, you spin it around, get it all the way down, and you just keep going until it's hand tight. So this has no weights on it at all, but I can really hear the feedback of the speed that I generate. And it feels really satisfying to hear that noise. Now, there is another little bit of a device that basically goes down and measures your speed, and then as that goes, it links up to the app, or you put in your speeds and it shows you what you're creating with each weight. And each golfer is going to be good and bad at either end of the spectrum. Some golfers are going to put loads of weight on it and still create the same speed. Some golfers are going to put loads of weight on it and slow down. Everyone's going to have a saturation point. But in the shop here, I use something similar, but not quite, because it doesn't link up to any technology. It doesn't give us any feedback. It's just a feeling mechanism. But this is a 250 gram clubhead swing speed trainer, and it's a very different length to the stack system. So this is more like a driver length, and it comes in 250 and 330 grams. But the first thing I did when I got one of these is I went, oh yeah, let's see how fast I can swing it. And I had a bit of a session where I tried to get as much pace as I could, and this is the lighter one, and I tried to get more speed to see what my body could get out, but I didn't have any tracking or measuring. And then I went up to the heavier 330 gram weight, and again I swung one way and I swung as fast as I could, and I went for it, and I really tried to get everything I could out of it for about 20 minutes. But there was a problem. The next day, my back was in absolute agony. I didn't know what I could put my body through. I didn't know what my body could take, but that was obviously too much when I first got one of these. So you need to take it easy, and the stack system has that kind of like spaced out, purpose-built training program. These can be good, you just need to use them in the right way, but you don't really know how much better you're getting unless you're doing something external to that to measure your progress, like coming to a simulator like this and measuring how fast you swing your normal club. But with that, I would proceed with caution. Do it for 2 or 3 minutes at a time, not 20. But if we have a look here at some of the screenshots that I've got from the chap that I borrowed this device from, again, thank you, Ross, we can see in here that we've got some different speeds with different weights. So we've got driver speed, we've got 280 gram, 195, and getting lighter there. So we can see the difference in speed that he creates with it. And it makes him wait a good 3 days between each session, so he doesn't overload his body, so he doesn't put his body through too much pressure that it's not quite used to. And the idea behind a lot of these things is that we max out how fast we can go. We get as fast as we can to get our body used to moving at that pace. So we go lighter in the weight so we can get more pace and more speed. And when we go heavier in weight, sometimes it stretches the body a bit further. It gives us a bit more reach, and it just gives us a bit more of a movement that moves further than it normally would, because it's different forces being put on the body. But progress track there looking really good. We go to the next one, we can see day 1, 2, 3 and 4. So day 3 and 4, he's got more carry, he's got more distance on the shots that he's hitting. And he's got, you can set it to go carry or total distance. You've got the temperature of the area, you've got the altitude as well. So it can get very specific to where you live. And I would check Google or Alexa to see what kind of like altitude you're at. Health and energy, so we've got 80, 90, 100, 100. So again, that's the 4-day progress, so the 4-session progress, 3 days in between each session. That's kind of like giving him a break and giving his body a chance to recover. And then grit score, what's that? So again, we've got progress after day 1 straight away. So he was already right up there, but he's plateaued out. And that's another point. Lots of golfers will get up to a certain speed and then plateau out. In the app, in the instruction that you get in there, it gives you ways to get more speed, ways to break through that barrier. And largely that will come from technique. So you're making yourself physically stronger, physically more capable, faster to get through the ball. But then sometimes technique's got to come in as well to facilitate that next step. And then we go over to driver speed. So again, his driver speed 107, 107, and then he's gone bang 110, bang 111. So he's looking at those incremental increases and he's measured it. He can see his progress. And it's good to see this because you will plateau out. But grit score 98%, distance potential 271. So it's looking at the potential you could get if you had perfect efficiency in the flight from the speed. So if it says your potential is 271 yards, carry, but you're not getting 271, then potentially there's something missing in your flight. Then we look at the clubs and we look at making sure that your clubs match that speed that you're putting into it, or technique. It could be the technique that you get into the ball with that's holding back the efficiency of the flight. If you're spinning it too much, for example. Again, I've done a recent series on golf balls, so if you're getting the wrong spin rate from that golf ball because you've progressed into a new area, you might want a golf ball or equipment or lessons or coaching or technique that matches that new speed. If you put a bigger engine into a car, you need to get bigger brakes, you need to get better suspension to handle that power and handle that speed. I like that analogy. And then we've got speed at different dates with different weights as well. So we're looking faster with the lighter weight and we're not getting as much speed with the bottom one. We've gone all the way down here to the 11th at 99 at 175 grams and then jumped up on the 17th from 195. So with a heavier weight, he's got more speed than before. Wonderful. But I'll have a few swings with this. Again, I'm not hooked up to the app. It's not telling me what I can do, but the thing that I would really encourage to hone in a skill that's transferable to your golf game, transferable to the golf course, is to do this. Now I'm going to spray a dot on the floor there, and I'm going to spray a dot on the floor there, and then a dot on the floor there with this sweet spot spray. I'll do a video on that later. And when I'm creating the speed, so I'm going to do this with the lighter one first, I want to create the speed, but I really want to get my mind and my focus onto one of these dots. So I can tune into where I'm creating the speed, because that can have an influence on your direction and your dispersion. If you're generally making more speed, then you might get a bit of variation because you're generating that speed at different points. If you pick a spot on the floor and try and make the speed go through that point, and this is with the stack system, without the stack system, with something else, even with your own golf clubs, like swing it as fast as you can through a spot. If I'm picking this spot in the middle, I'm trying to get that speed through that spot. I didn't mean to touch the floor, but I did. I'm trying to get through that spot. If I go to this spot here, I'm not going to move my feet, but I'm going to go to this spot, and then I'm going to be a little bit more draw biased. I'm going to be a little bit more encouraging of that club to get into out. So I'm changing my swing path, I'm changing the pattern of how the golf club gets through the ball, but I'm doing it at pace. And then again, if I want to be a bit more fadey, I want to get a little bit more ahead of the ball, I want to get past it, I'm going to try and create the speed at this dot here on my left foot. Create the speed at my left foot, create the speed at my left foot, and then let's whack a little bit more weight into it to see if I can get that same feeling. 100 grams extra, and why not, let's go one more on top of that. Let's go 160 extra. That goes on there, screws in, and hand tighten it. Again, I want to create the speed at that same place. So I'm going to try in the middle. It doesn't matter if you do or don't get that spot specifically, because you'll get better over time the more you do it. And then again, I go for that one on the right foot, trying to encourage that draw. Getting used to moving in that area, getting used to moving from this side of the golf ball. If I point my sternum over here, it's a bit easier to stay at that dot. If I point my sternum over here, it's a bit easier to stay at that dot. So I can use my setup, I can use where I put my sternum to specifically choose the place that I want to create the speed at. And this video over here tells you why. So I'm just going to go through on that video what I sort of mean. Use something like this, or a speed stick, or a swing trainer to try and encourage this. But there we have the stack system.